We're almost live. There we go. That's great. Now we are live on Facebook, and we're about to also go live again on Instagram. You know, this is so funny, you guys. I tell you, technology really does hate me. Sometimes I push buttons, and it says, no, I'm not going to do it. Okay, there we go. Now we are live everywhere. Very fun. I'm very excited to be talking with the adorable and amazing Laura Ashwood. And I have total hair envy. That gorgeous long thick hair. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Oh, anyway, but I'm very excited. I've been reading your book and I'm absolutely loving it. And I'm going to, as we're talking, chit-chatting here, I'll say hi to our gang who is ringing in. Corinne, you're the first one here, made it in from Ontario. And hi to Kathy McCabe from North Idaho. Cindy is here. Hey, you. And very fun. Diane's here. Yep, a lot of the gang is already showing up. I don't think I see any of our Insta people yet, but I'm sure they will. Oh, there they are. Hello, everybody. So this is going to be a lovely and interesting visit here with the amazing Laura Ashwood. And I'll show you, I love her book cover. This is so gorgeous. Can you guys see that? Don't you? I love the colors of this. They're very kind of peachy and feminine, and I think they're so pretty. Oh, Marianne, watching from Phoenix. All right. Well, I happen to be here at the beach at the moment. We actually had a couple of days of sun on the Washington coast, so that was very exciting. I got out and played tennis this morning and actually didn't play too badly. I was very proud of myself. But anyway, so Laura, we're going to find out what she does for fun here. Let me say hi. A few more people. Francis has made it. Nicole's made it. Shannon's made it. Hi, guys. And I see a couple more of our Insta people have made it. Thank you so much for joining us today as we talk about Laura's new book, which we would probably label, you would label this women's fiction, Laura?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be an interesting conversation. But first, we're going to find out a little bit about Laura, how she came about writing, and she's had some interesting adventures here as a writer. And this is you have done 7 books now so far, right? This is book number 8, correct?
Yeah, this is my first book with Harpeth Road.
Very good, very exciting. And you said you were indie published earlier. You had gone ahead and done it on your own, right?
Right. The first 7 books I did myself.
Wow,
it's a lot of work.
It is. I mean, you are the editor, you're the art department, you're the marketing, you're everything. It's a lot of work. Did you like doing it? How do you prepare? Because now this is your first book with a traditional publisher, and you've done your own. How does that compare, would you say?
The timeline is a lot different. When I indie publish, I can write the book, and as soon as I get it back from my editor, I can publish it. And the timeline is significantly longer with the traditional publisher. So, I mean, by the time you finish the book, there's 6 to 9 months before it gets published. And so there's a lot of waiting. But the editing, as an indie published author, you are at the mercy of the editors that you can afford. And you always want to put the best book forward that you can, but editing is very expensive too. And with the traditional publishers, I'm sure that editing is top notch, and
it is, but it's kind of funny
trying to find a good cover designer.
Well, but even with editors, it's so funny that something always seems to get by in a book. You really think, gosh, so many people are looking at it, so many eyes on it. This should be in fabulous condition, and there's always some little thing, oh dear, that there it is in print. But readers love us anyway. I think readers are very forgiving.
Good thing.
They like to tell me if they find something, but usually, guys, by the time you find something and told me, it's like it's too late. There it is for all the world to see. Nancy, by the way, said hi from Wisconsin, and Nancy, guess where Laura is from? Laura is a Wisconsin girl.
I am.
Right? So what's special about when I think of Wisconsin, I think everybody we think of cheese.
Right. I think everybody definitely thinks of cheese. We are actually just moved here to Wisconsin in April of last year. So we're fairly new to the state, but we lived just across the border in Minnesota. So it's pretty familiar, but I know there's a lot of lakes here. I know Minnesota likes to call itself the land of 10,000 lakes, but man, there's got to be at least close to that here. And we're right by the St. Croix River Valley, and it's just really pretty. The landscaping here is just beautiful. Lots of trees.
And so and weather, I was thinking, because at first I thought you were still in Minnesota, and I thought, oh my gosh, you're freezing. And you said, no, your weather is kind of like what I've got here in the Pacific Northwest, right? I thought you'd be all snowed in and bundled up like Nanook of the North, and that's not the case, huh?
Not at this time of year. If you we would have been doing this chat a couple months ago, maybe, or even last week Sunday, we got quite a bit of snow. We got about 13 inches of snow. I
Oh,
know over on the other side of the state by Green Bay, they got a little over 2 feet of
oh
snow.
my gosh.
So
Well, I'm
we
gonna,
get the whole gamut of weather here, though. I'm up in northern Wisconsin, northwest Wisconsin, and or we'll get below zero with lots of snow in the winter and 100 degrees with 70-degree dew points in the summer. So we get all of it.
wow, you got the whole variety. By the way, I
Yeah.
see a lot of you have come in now. Thanks for joining us. This is really fun to have so many of you here to support Laura and get a chance to get to know her. Well, so when it is cold and yucky, so are you a winter sport girl or are you a stay inside and be cozy kind of girl?
I am definitely a stay inside and be cozy. I'm stay inside and be cozy in the summer too, to be honest with you. I'm not a real big outdoors girl.
Oh, well, I'm kind of not either. I mean, I want to be out playing around and doing stuff, but hiking, when we're going, if we haven't done much of that, but the few ones we would do, here would be how it would go. It'd be me. Are we there yet? My husband, almost. Are we there yet? Almost. And if I could bring back a souvenir, like something I'd scrounged from the woods. One time I hauled a whole, we were just landscaping, had built a house and they did like landscaping and shrubs, and I found a wild rhododendron and hauled all the way down this mountain. And I don't think I was supposed to do that. I didn't know at the time, so I'm sorry if I did that. But anyway, so if I can find a souvenir, berry, anything, but just to hike, and then you go up there, and there's a view, and now I'm ready to go back. And when do we eat? So, but for all you nature girls out there, my hat is off to you who are big hikers and skiers and snowshoers and all that stuff.
Well, we do have a camper. My husband calls it glamping because it has AC and a TV, but we do have a camper at a seasonal lot, and then I do enjoy fishing. I like ice fishing and boat fishing.
Oh wow, ice fishing! Now that's cool. That's very fun. Outdoorsy.
That's about as outdoorsy as I get, but I do enjoy fishing.
I've seen ice fishing like on TV. That's where you dig a hole in the water and stick your fishing pole down. You have a little cabin you sit in. Is that right?
Yeah, you drill a hole and with an auger in the ice, and it's a portable fish house, so it folds, so it's like a little tent. It's like an insulated tent.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Corinne says she loves fishing too. All right, you guys. Anything I can catch and eat for free. My husband is not into fishing, doggone it. And I've tried to do crabbing here in the Northwest. And where we are, there's this jetty. You'd be able to climb out on the rocks, and you'd have this little crab trap you could put on the end of a fishing pole and throw it in the water. And my girlfriend and we were like, I Love Lucy goes looking for crab. One time we cut something wrong on the first one and broke the trap. So I went to go get another trap. And then we lost a trap, broke the line. And then we fell in the water. And I mean, on and on it went. And my husband keeps saying, just buy some crab. It's like, no, I want to catch my crab.
Did you catch any?
This is hilarious. No, but we wound up with one little crab. There was a guy there, a really nice young guy, and he came all the time, but he'd gone off without his cooler to put his crab in, and we let him use ours. And then his girlfriend arrived with the cooler, and he said, well, you can keep the crab. So I was very excited. By the time I got it clean, there was enough for her and not for me. So
that sounds like a really good meat cute.
So anyway, but that's another story. Let's get on to you. Let's go back to you. Okay, so you're not an outdoorsy girl. You're a cozy kind of girl. So because you have to stay inside and do your writing. So I want to know, with the writing, was this something you were doing as a child, or have you gotten into this more as an adult? How did your writing career start?
From the minute that I learned how to read, I think that I never wanted to do anything else but write books. I had a little, I don't want to say I had a bad childhood, but I used books to escape a lot. And I really always wanted to be able to write something that would help somebody else escape. And I didn't have the courage to start writing until I was almost 50. So I didn't even start writing anything except, in my head until probably 6 years ago.
You're in your 50s? I thought you were 30. Good heavens.
No,
Wow.
I'm actually going to be 56 next week.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. But
Mhm.
you know what? This is and all of you who have been joining us, have been talking to authors and different influencers. I think here's another example of it's never too late to start that career or
Oh,
start that
absolutely
second.
not. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you're a really good example of, well, you know what? Now I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. Whatever it is, I don't care if you're going to learn ballroom dancing or you're going to write the great American novel or you're going to join a band. It's just really is. There's always time to do something if you make the time, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you should. If you ever wanted to do something, do it. Just do it. Don't
Yeah,
waste the
because you'll
time.
be sorry if you don't. Later on, you'll get God, what
Absolutely.
mad, So that's kind of a thing to. Oh, Linda says she's done lots of crabbing through the years. I have several people the crabbing, and they've gone and getting the oysters and clams and stuff.
I've
Yes,
always
very.
wanted to do that.
And it doesn't matter if you're late to the party. I'm glad you could come. This is very fun. And hi to all our new Insta people. By the way, as often is the case, if you are here, there is a chance that you will win a goodie if you're here and active and commenting. And if Laura is a new author to you, if you haven't won anything yet, be sure and say that. Say, hey, Sheila, I'm sure getting tired of putting my name in the hat and never get drawn. Let me know. And Laura, what are you going to? Laura's going to give away a book. What are you going to be giving away, Laura?
I will have a copy of the new book to give away.
Oh, wow. That's really special. This is a good book, you guys. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Thank you. That is very, very, very kind of you. And I know everybody's going to appreciate it. And again, until things settle down postage wise, and I know our Canadian friends, you guys are dealing with tariff issues just like we are down here. And so this is going to be US only. Sometimes authors are able to find a workaround for that. But for this one, I do apologize. It'll still be US only. I am still, by the way, though, for those of you who are pre-ordering a copy of Love on the Shelf, I know we did a kind of a cutoff time, but I still had some bookmarks left. And so if you end up pre-ordering that and would like me to send you a bookmark as a thank you, I don't care where you live, I'll make sure you get that in the mail. Just all you got to do is message me and say, hey, I bought a copy of the book, fill in the blank. Of course, the ideal, we like keeping our independent bookstores in business, but we, it's so easy to order from Amazon. I'm not going to get mad at you if you do that. Barnes & Noble, any place. And I always tell people, if you can't afford the book, ask your library to order in a book because the libraries will do that too. And you're helping the author with their sales also. So, if you can't afford to run out and get Laura Ashwood's latest book, I'm hoping, of course, you can. But if you can't, make sure your library brings it in so that more people can meet her as an author. So very important to be doing that for our authors. So let's circle back to what's going on with Laura. So reading was your escape and decided, at some point I'm going to write down the road, that's going to happen. I'm going to write. And so you started writing. How were your early experiences as a writer? Do you feel like you just jumped in and everything was smooth sailing, or did you have some bumps in the road along the way?
I don't think anything about writing is smooth sailing. I did jump into the deep end of the pool, though, for sure. I kind of, when I finally decided to try writing, I hit the ground running. But it's been a learning experience for sure. And I think every book that I write, I learn something new. And I've been going to conferences, and you learn so many things from other authors. And the author community is so generous in sharing what they know with other authors. I have so appreciated that. And I don't think before I started writing, I realized that. I kind of thought that, I've always been held authors at such, a high place that to be able to, have conversations with people like you and to be able to go to conferences and learn from authors that you admire. I mean, I might write books, but I fangirl just like every other reader does. And it's been such a blessing to be part of the author community and learn, and meeting the readers has been just something that I hadn't expected. When you get emails from your readers or when you go to events and have people come up to you, it's is, I can't even describe it, but it's so humbling, and I'm so grateful, so very grateful.
Yeah, yeah, I hear, and I think it's interesting. I think there's always somebody you're kind of going to be a little bit in awe of it. I oh gosh, it's been several months now, but I had read Hank. I was there, Philippi
Yeah, I
Ryan.
know how to say it. I know who you're talking about.
She's just the most elegant and gorgeous thing, and I had read her last book and just
Yeah.
loved it. And she was on some loop that I was on, and I got really brave and just, contact her and just say, I really loved your book and hope I'm not being, pushy or anything. And she was so nice, and I was like, oh my gosh, she wrote me back, and she was really nice. And what was I thinking she was going to do? Say, get out of here. But I think sometimes we can get very intimidated, about people who are higher up the ladder in their career or whatever than we are, or they're a star. And it's like the bottom line is, we all, the silly saying about we all put on our pants one leg at a time. And,
Right.
and that really is true. And I think most people are perfectly happy to be generous and kind and open. And you guys, we talked about this when I was doing I hope you all watched the interview with Peggy and Nancy, where we were talking about making your own luck and being bold enough to approach somebody and not feel, like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be doing this. Because of course you should. How do you get anywhere, right? If you don't take a step in the right direction and do something.
Well, it's the same with waiting to start something that you've always wanted to do. You have to be bold and just do it.
Did you feel like that was what the case with you? Did you feel like it took a little bit of sucking up your courage to jump in and do this?
Very much, very, very much. And it's scary when you're writing a book to put it out on Amazon and put it out in the world for everybody to see. It leaves you feeling very vulnerable, I think. I know
Yeah.
my husband has been such a huge supporter, and I don't know that I would have done it had it not been for him and
I think
his
it's, yeah, really important to
support.
have people in your corner who are rooting for
Yeah.
you and want to be supportive of you, because it can be scary. But the fact that you went ahead and did it, that's huge. And sometimes you just have to take that deep breath and take the step and say, I'm just gonna do this. And it
Yep.
doesn't always, and that's the other scary thing with being an author. Once you have your book out there, it's like, okay, here I am, throw water balloons at me, because you're just, you're vulnerable. You kind of like the turtle that lost its shell. It's like,
Right.
where's my shell? It's a very vulnerable thing to put your stuff out there. So I love that. Nicole says, if you don't speak up, it's always no. That is really well said.
That's awesome. Very, very
Yeah,
true.
I think there's a lot of truth in that. So yay that you spoke up. Well, speaking up, let's speak a little about your book, because this isn't, I don't know, I'm going to not say much. I'll let you say what you want about it, because I don't want to give any possible spoilers. But I'm partway through this, and first of all, her writing is lovely.
Thank
And
you.
I just keep turning the pages. It's not doing. I've got my circles under my eyes covered, you guys, because I was up last night reading instead of sleeping, and so just be warned. But tell us a little bit about the book and the con. First of all, let's start with the kind of the concept a little bit. What gave you the idea for this book? Did you see something in the news, or did it just all pop in your head?
I don't think I was trying to think about that. I remember very vividly my husband and I were on a four-wheeler ride. Oh, I'd like to four-wheeler. We were on a four-wheeler ride one afternoon, and we were going down this long road, and I was kind of daydreaming, I think. And I was like, geez, what would you do if you found out your husband had a secret life? And it wasn't related to my husband in any way. I just get ideas randomly like that when I'm doing stuff. And then it just kind of went from there. It wouldn't leave me alone. And so from there, I was kind of like, well, what would be worse than that? Because that's the game I like to play when I'm trying to come up with when I have an idea and try to make it into a book. Well, okay, so if she found out he had a secret life, what would be worse than that? And the worst thing would be, well, what if he had another child, a child that she didn't know about? And what would be worse than that is, what if she had wanted a child and he told her they couldn't have a child? And I just kind of went from there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, and I love that whole concept of I was asking her earlier, okay, what's the deal with this guy? How did this come to be? And it's kind of like you got to wait till the next book to get all the total answers. There are enough answers in the book here to keep you going, but I thought, boy, this guy's a weasel. And but it happens. This kind of thing happens, you know. And people aren't always honest. And I feel like this book is a really good example of when you're first getting together with a person. I think it's really important. You want to know who their family is. You want to know who their friends are. You want to know real people in their life. They don't just get to pop in your life and go, surprise, here I am, I'm wonderful, because sometimes they're not. And I think we all, when we're dating, usually put our best foot forward, you know, and then the big ugly hairy fungus toe foot comes into play maybe after you're married. So I think it's really a good idea to get to know people beforehand. So you came up with this idea then, and you went from being an indie author to say, okay, I'm going to try and do this traditionally. So did you just reach out? Did you get an agent? Did you just reach out to the publisher? How did that happen?
I don't have an agent. I did just reach out to the publisher.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Thank you.
And so, of course, you had a track record by now. So did you say, look, I've already done 7 books, and here's my success story. And then she said, hey, by the way, I'd just like to look at your book.
I had actually done a promotion with the owner of the publishing house, Jenny Hale. She's just adorable. And I believe you were in that same promotion. And when I was at a point where I wanted to get that book out in the world, I had looked at her publishing. I have a couple of author friends that publish through Harpeth Road. And I was looking at their website and I saw that I didn't need to have an agent to submit. And so I filled out her form and was just over the moon when she messaged me back and offered to take the book, because I really feel like it is in the best home that it could possibly be in with that company.
That's great. It's beautiful. I'll hold it up again for those of you who came in late. Melanie had to leave early. Bye, Melanie. I don't know if you heard me say bye or not, but I mean, I think this is gorgeous. I love these kind of covers. I know you love the artsy, the cartoony covers of all the thing, but I really still prefer this kind of cover. I think this is really very elegant. And like I said, I love the colors. It's just really
the colors are my favorite. I love the colors too.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. And like I said, the writing is also really, really beautiful. So now you said you were reading as a child, and obviously you're reading as an adult. Were there authors that inspired you, or you said, I will read everything? I mean, I have go-to authors. If that author has a book coming out, I'm just going to buy it right now.
Right. I loved Laverell Spencer, Debbie Maycomer, Nancy Nagel, who actually is now a good friend of mine. But I read so many different things. It's kind of like music. I don't have necessarily a favorite genre. I read most everything. Well, generally keep it clean and Christian, but I do have so many different. And I mean, I grew up reading the Little House on the Prairie books and Trixie Belden. I think I still have that whole collection.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I grew up with Nancy Drew. I thought I must be the most naive woman on the planet. It was a few years ago. There was a book that was written about Carolyn Keene, and all my life I thought it was the same woman. And I was like, it wasn't. Carolyn Keene was like the name they picked, and then you wrote under that umbrella. I'm like, you mean there wasn't a Carolyn Keene? I was so shocked. I was just absolutely horrified to find out.
I just learned that a couple years ago too.
Made up.
I just learned that a couple years ago too, and went through the same.
It's like hearing there's no Santa Claus. It's like,
right.
Really? That's kind of a shock. But yeah, I have the other interesting thing, and all you readers out there joining us, I don't know if you feel like this too, but you get an author you love. I did this with Georgette Hare, and I'd go to the library way back in the good old days and go to the library and check out this book and then get this book and this book. And finally I went through almost all of them. I'm going, what? She only has 20 books or however much it was. And I thought later, once you become a writer, you're going, wait, back then, it took a long time to write a book,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like she was slacking off. She had produced a lot of books in her lifetime, but it's funny how different things you see depending on which side of the computer screen you're sitting. You know,
Right.
I just thought that was kind of interesting. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh, Frances says she started reading at 7. Wow, that's
Nice.
great. I don't remember, because my life is a blur. I don't remember. I know I was always reading as a kid. I don't remember my parents. My family was great. My mom was great. She was teaching me how to sew and all these lady things, but I don't remember being read to as a child. And I don't know if I've just forgotten that or if it just sort of never happened. I don't remember seeing my mom. We had books around the house, but I don't remember ever seeing my mom reading. And I think maybe that was because she was busy running the house and doing things. But
Yeah.
and so, because I know a lot of people, they'll say, "Oh, well, we're a family of readers, and I was always read to, and my mom was always reading," and I don't remember that at all. But
I don't think my mom, I don't remember my mom ever reading to us either. I do remember that she did read. I don't think I ever saw her read, but I know she had books. They were in her room, but I don't remember her ever reading to us either.
yeah, and of course now that's a big thing that we're always being encouraged. Read to your children.
Right.
Read to your children. It's
Yeah.
so good for developing their brains, and so I think things have changed from way back when. But yeah, that was just kind of an interesting thing. Well, so are you working on something right now for
I
another
am.
book?
I am writing a contemporary romance right now for Sunrise Publishing as part of their Jonathan Island series. And then I'm also working on the second book, for the follow-up book for the Abby's story.
Good. So there will be a follow-up. I'm glad to hear that because I was telling her I want to know more about the Weasley husband here. So she's promising me I might actually learn more about the Weasley husband. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, Joanne says my dad started taking me to the library when I was 4.
Wow. Oh,
Wow.
that's awesome.
Got my first library card then, checked out stacks every week. That's just very fun. I remember getting my library card. I remember going to the library, and my dad used to love Zane Grey books. And I wanted to read a Zane Grey book. And the librarian wouldn't let me, no, that's too adult for you. You can't read that book. I'm going, Zane, I looked back, I go, Zane Grey, seriously? And my dad went up and had a little talk with the librarian. And then lo and behold, I got to read my Zane Grey book.
That's
But
awesome.
I still can remember the smell and the feel, and even I can just envision that library. It was a small library. It was a Carnegie library, and I just remember what that children's section looked like, and I can just find my way around the whole bookstore, that whole library in my mind. So libraries are a wonderful thing, and they are a good way to get to know new readers, guys. I think I've told you all this before. What I often will do, I'll find a new writer through the library. And then if I like the book, I'll go out and buy a copy for a trophy as a keeper, or also to support that author. But it's sometimes you're taking a chance every time you read a new author. That could be a good way to do that. But you were talking about, I suspect, then you write the closed door kind of romance. So this is not going to be the really graphic, spicy, super. If they pick up one of your books, correct?
Correct.
Okay, because I think people like to know that, our readers have different tastes of what they're looking for. So if you're looking for something that's a little more on the sweet side, and got to have a great women's fiction story, and there is a romance in here, and you will get that, but it will be one of the fade to black closed door style books.
There's not a lot of romance in this one. There's a hint of romance.
Well, I know I found it because I sneaked and read ahead. Well, I know there's a romance coming, so maybe we're going to get more romance in the sequel. But I said,
definitely more in the second one.
Yeah, I know somebody's coming on the scene, which she deserves after everything she's gone through.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be great. Well, listen, now tell everybody where they can find you online.
I am at lauraashwood.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as @LauraAshwoodBooks. And I have a newsletter. I have my little dog here, Gus, has his own little column in my newsletter that the readers seem to really like. I think he gets more emails than I do. But I would definitely love to hear from you.
And what kind of dog is that, by the way?
He is a Chihuahua Chinese crested.
Oh, he's so cute. He's so fuzzy. When I think
He
of
is.
Chihuahua, I don't think of fur. So.
Well, long-haired long-haired Chihuahua, Chinese crested. And
So
he is
cute.
actually, there's a dog in A Life Rewritten that is based on Gus. So.
And yes, and you like to put animals in your books. So
Absolutely.
If you like to read books with pets and animals, guys, then this will always also be a really good choice for you.
Yep.
Author. So
Thanks.
that's where you can find her. And again, appreciate all you guys commenting. But again, if you want to throw in one last comment saying, hey, I really want to try Laura's book. I haven't won anything yet, and feel sorry for me, and maybe pick my name. Who knows, it might get picked. We had that happen last time. So feel free to make sure that you're commenting so that I can find that. I will look for those comments at some point this evening, and we'll post a winner either tonight or tomorrow morning. So guys, I want to say thank you again for joining us. We're first going to say goodbye to our Instagram people. And Instagram people, feel free to message me with questions or anything if you got them. And I'll be happy to do that. And why is this not Instagram, guys? You might be with me forever because I can't get you to, I can't, you guys all know, Sheila and technology, for some reason, you are not going away. So, well, you just stay there and for a while, and we'll just shut you down, say goodbye now, and close out goodbye Instagram. I don't know what
Thank
happened,
you so
but
much.
glad you guys joined us.
Thank you.
Bye to our Insta people. And now we're going to say bye to our Facebook gang. Guys, I appreciate you joining us. You have a great week. And we'll see you one more time next week. I've got a guest, and then Sheila's coming to California for Easter. And so we'll take a break. But we'll see you soon.